Namaste, I'm Mona Flynn. Thank you for joining me for a level 2 class. Today we will use a chair, 2 blocks, a strap, and a blanket. You may have other things that will suffice. Let's begin. If you will, come and sit at the front edge of your chair, hands behind you, fingertips pointing back. And as your fingertips press down and back, drop the chin to the chest, lift the sternum, gaze into your heart, root the legs lightly, and feel the lengthening upward. Feel the lengthening of the back of the neck. No matter when we are in a pose or traveling through a transition, doing a preparation, finding that rebound energy gives us an opportunity to focus on the lift. What begins to open when we focus on what lifts us up? The language of the body is spoken in emotion. When we are able to open places that are tight, sometimes there is a release of emotion without having to overthink. And it lends itself to the rest of our day. Let's open our mind to movement and possibility and the sense of lift. Let us begin. Using your hands still behind you, catch hold of the back of the chair, somewhere nice and low, come and hinge, and continue to allow the broadening of the collarbones. Notice what happens when you lift the front of your feet. And notice what happens if you were to lift one foot just barely off the floor. So you are tapping into your core strength, literally, figuratively. You can follow this by extending the leg. And there's a little bit more going on for the quadriceps and the core, deep hip flexors. And the other side. Notice how one side will tell it to you a little differently. Meaning, is it more intense? Some aspect of it gets your attention. And then let's go the other way this time, and I'll turn to the side. We'll slide one foot underneath so it gets propped up, and we'll slide the arms a little bit higher up and continue with this opening of the front body using traction. But while the fingers hold on and the neck and the shoulders get to let go, while your sitting bones are supported, if you will, press into the legs, let them really use the floor, and charge the legs. So here we get to strengthen the muscles of the foundation of the body without imposing on joint structure. We want to have a challenge though, so if you will, swing the arms forward and up. And whether you keep it simple, just pressing more into your feet, into the floor, or if you are to rise up out of the chair, find a place that gives you a comfortable challenge and pause. Pause and bring your arms down and back and reach hold for the seat of the chair, just to be reaching and knowing arms well back. You can push into the chair and then reach forward and up. Feel the shift through core. This time as you go back, knowing that the chair is there, press into it. Press back as if you're propelling yourself into a lift, but don't change anything as far as your angle. And then reach forward and up and sit. Great work for the legs. Other side. I'm propping up that foot, swinging the arms forward, coming into a hinge, deciding about where, how high, how low, and then aiming to be absolutely still while we take the arms back, find the chair, know where it is, swing the arms forward, keep lifting the ribs, swing the arms down and back, and notice we're not going in a hurry, and this time push, takes the load off the legs, it gives it to the ankles maybe differently, take the arms forward and up, And if you will, this time, come on up. Nice. From here, we're going to stay sideways to the chair. You're welcome to incorporate a block if you want to go lower. But we're going to aim to start with this nice wide triangle pose and add a little bit of rotation. My foot closest to the chair is the inside foot. It turns out, and the back foot turns in, and we get to lengthen. We get to lengthen and travel on down and perhaps catch the back of the chair. So what happens here in catching the back of the chair is that I get to tug a little bit, and I get to use that tug to stay really long through the lower side to not round. This is a side fold, not a side bend, so there is no flexion, there's no rounding laterally. And in case you feel that you want a little bit more traction, then wiggle away, wiggle the front foot further, both feet further, and give yourself this comfortable challenge of lengthening. The other arm can go up or behind you. And regardless of whether it is up or whether it is behind you, we're going to pivot off the back foot and give ourselves a chance to just warm up the muscles that give us opportunity to twist, still with traction. So then, lifting the back heel, turning, looking past the chair, squaring the pelvis, and returning, and perhaps wiggling that back heel a little bit further back. Turning toward the ceiling, toward the sky. Exhale, come again. Rotate. Try to shift the pelvis back while you square the pelvis. Take the time and return, and just feel the side body lengthening. Both sides. As you come this time, as you pivot off that back foot, both hands, and we'll switch what the arms are doing. So I want the arm that belongs to the front foot to use the seat of the chair. I want the arm that belongs to the back foot to use the top of the chair. And I have this great push-pull. And I can continue to play with this through the action of the back foot. I can anchor it, I can aim to anchor it. And while you make those adjustments, also adjust so that you are not walking the tightrope. Walk your front foot slightly to the side and sink back, making it a point to keep the pelvis square. So you're using the movement of the ankle to ask for the tractioning effect of the other side of the body. After a few repetitions, the top arm is going to come across, and we get to allow the pelvis to go along for the ride. It gets to rotate, and we have a little bit more lengthening through the side body. It's really wonderful. Your heel might not make it to the floor, and that's okay. The idea is to reach into it, and that will give you that tug value. Beautiful. We want to continue to affect the front hip though. So while you face the chair, while you step the front foot back and the back foot somewhat forward, we're going to take the leg that was the front foot and cross ankle at the knee, lifting the heel of the bottom leg, sit down into this figure four, push away the chair, drop the sitting bones. And notice if what you can do now is rest the heel, just so that you give yourself these ankle, calf, warming up kind of movements. Pushing away the chair gives you the opportunity to ground, it gives you stability, and perhaps a little bit of courage to try more. From here, come to this plank pose, broaden, open, roll over the top of the feet if you wish, draw yourself forward and up, and then roll over the top of the feet and come into your downward facing dog. Just allow your head to hang, root the heels. You'll notice that your legs each feel a little bit different. If you will, push away the chair and come and sit and stand. We will do all of that from the other side. So we started with ample room to this side. And we started with feet wide, stepping the feet wide. And the key is to find what is the distance that allows this lateral fold, catching the back of the chair, having this wonderful traction. We go both feet away until you have that for yourself, walking the tightrope. Nice. Whether the top arm is high or behind you, as you get your bearings, as you get situated, as you charge the legs, the pivot is off the back ankle. So here we go. You're going to pivot and turn and reach for the back of the chair if you wish, and return. Every repetition is an opportunity to keep wiggling that back leg a little bit further, to keep enough leverage to turn and look toward the ceiling. Exhale, shoulders square with the floor. Inhale, returning. Movement with breath. All the places that wake up in the body, the back of the knee, the entire shoulder girdle. This time, if you will, we are going to get there and we will square the pelvis. We'll walk that front foot over and begin to shift what the hands are doing. The hand that belongs to the front leg goes to the seat of the chair. The hand that belongs to the back leg goes to the back of the chair. And that back foot still is going to give us what we're asking for. I want to lift the heel and then aim to anchor the heel. It's, again, not important if you don't get there. Keep looking ahead, keep rooting. I'm sliding the top arm across so it crosses the midline. There's an element of twist. It opens the side ribs a little bit more. And we are reminded, great deep breathing will help us create more space from within. After a few passes, we are ready. We'll step the front foot back, the back foot forward, just enough to, again, set the front leg. The front foot is going to go to the opposite knee. The foot is flexed and I'm sitting back into this figure four. I'm getting this great outer hip stretch. And keep aiming the sitting bones down and back. You can push into the chair or hold onto it and press it down, up to you. If you started out high, aim to anchor the heel. Just notice how that creates change. So we'll continue to warm up with these patterns. We need a great twist, and then we'll begin to open up again. Come and sit. Come and stand. And the chair now beside you in a slightly different orientation. So this time the chair here to the side faces forward, and I am standing slightly behind it. I can choose to use the top of the chair or the seat of the chair in this twist, in this revolved side angle pose. So as the inside leg goes forward and the outside leg goes back, if I want to be able to turn and use the top of the chair, I'm going to hang back a little bit. I'm going to be closer to the back of the chair. If you know yourself that you could come deeper into this pose, then come on forward. Consider lifting the back heel. You'll want a wider lower lunge and using the lengthening that we just accessed. So as you place your hand in the seat of the chair, this is a great way to ease in. The top hand gets to press down into the top of the back of the chair. The arm that comes across is going to help guide you into this twist. And depending on how deeply you are able to come into this pose with the chair, you can slide the arm across. I like to get to where my fingertips catch the outer edge of the chair because I can use my fingers for even more leverage. Be careful that the knee does not wing out to the side, that you root into the heels and to all four corners of your feet, and allow Deep breathing to guide you into where and how to adjust. Not only does anchoring your mind's eye on the breath illuminate the body and give you a little bit more awareness in this time of being present to what your breath guides you with, but it also gives you the opportunity to be patient and to breathe into resistance, right? What is resisting? Could we give it a little bit more attention? It's asking for attention. Notice how your breath continues to expand the back of the ribcage. And when you are ready to come on up, we're coming with an upward spiral. So as you begin, come reach the outside arm in this wonderful way to use Warrior One to open up the hip, lifting the ribs. Take the arms up together. Keep lifting the ribcage. Take the arms wide. The front leg next to the chair tells you which way to twist toward the chair. As you twist toward the chair, as you really use both legs well, you could use the chair. You could decide that one arm is going to bear down and help you continue to ask for rotation, helping the ribcage within your means, no forcing. As you inhale next, we are returning. We're revolving away from the chair and walking feet together, a nice smooth transition. Wonderful, let's do all of that on the other side. So I have space in front and the back behind. We can go this way. And my inside leg is the front leg. And depending on whether you're using the back of the chair or the front of the chair, your proximity to the front of the chair. If you're going to use the seat of the chair, come long and low. Begin to rotate. Use both arms. Slide into it. Deepen the pose with each exhalation. And return to how you're using your legs. How you're using those arms. How the chair gives you something very different that might guide your yoga body, your memory, when the chair is not there. The element of push-pull, what then opens, where we might tend to collapse that the chair saves us from, where there can be lift. And before you give it away, if what you want to do is minimize your use of the chair while you hold the position, that will help you understand where the lift needs to be. Nice. Inhale, come back to center. Lift the outside arm. Lift both arms if you wish. Keep lifting the ribcage. With the next inhalation, take the arms wide. With the next exhalation, begin to twist. Decide if you are using the chair. And if so, bear down, help the ribs to lift. Reach forward with that free arm. Notice how it lends itself also. How that back foot, similar to how we got out of the chair, kind of propels you. Yes, and then begin to continue that unwinding spiral, turning away from the chair, walking or hopping the feet in, toes and heels. So we are ready now to come to opening yet again. And I'm going to take the chair to this sideways position, similar to where we started before. We're going to connect our Warrior Two to our half moon, and then we're going to make it so that we practice a little bit of revolved half moon, just to notice what gets to happen with the help of the chair. I'm actually going to go like this. So stepping the feet wide, The back of my chair is facing you. Turn that inside foot out. Come on into this bent knee position. Enjoy your warrior two. You should feel pretty open now. You might decide that instead of the chair, you'll want to place a block just below or beside in case you want to come lower. But I think we're going to really enjoy what the chair gives us the opportunity to practice. Keep creating space. Stay one more breath. As you exhale, lengthen, travel on in. Notice using the seat of the chair for the bottom hand and using the top of the chair for the top hand. And come on into your half moon. How about that? What is very useful here is how the back of the chair gives you an opportunity to press down and to come into your back body. Great. And the chair, despite the fact that it gives us a head start, it makes the pose quite accessible, we can still give attention to a great challenge. We can come and rest the forearm and decide that instead of the block, our attempt to go lower might be to use the forearm. In which case my fingertips are rolling off the edge of the chair, and as I tug, I can come into the back body. I can use the front hand into the chair and I don't lose the stability. I get to add a little bit of isometric work. And if I go a little bit lower, then my top leg, my back leg can travel into it, lifting higher. Any or all of that, experiment. This is your practice. When you are ready for change, we're going to come up just a little bit and then rotate. Rotate still, my hand is in the seat of the chair. I am turning to square the pelvis using this warrior three setup. But I want to be able to strengthen initiating into revolved half moon. And if we were to do revolved half moon with great freedom, you might already have that capacity in your body. We need to be sure, for the sake of safety, that the pelvis stays square, that there is no dropping the opposite way. There is only rotation from the rib cage. Hence, the hand at the back of the chair and the seat of the chair, you get to press down and just play. Oh, if I wanted to just turn my rib cage, I can feel and note that I am asking for it from here and not from lower in my body. I'll know where to hold myself when the chair is not there. And then come back, square the shoulders. Let's do it again. Rotate the upper rib cage. Try to stay still in the shoulder and in the pelvis. And if you want to take the free arm, then up and explore where you can go. Stay even, no overdoing. Before you give this away, as you come back, both hands in the seat of the chair, bring the knee in towards you. Yep. And take the leg back. Use the arm opposite the leg. It reaches forward, and you'll bring those limbs toward each other below you, round, invite cat pose into your body, extend, reach into the heels, look ahead, and continue 3 repetitions. Now, that standing leg has done quite a bit for us. And we can follow that yet again with this outer hip stretch. I'm going to step back, and the leg that was standing is going to come again and sit, get parked, ankle to the knee, and I get to sit down and back yet again. The chair comes in handy. While you're here, with or without the chair, lift up, lift onto your toes, and just feel that you can sit into it a little bit more. And then rest the heel. Wow, that's a nice little trick. One or both arms lift. And slowly stand. Only wonderful when the transition of what comes next is a recovery for what we've just done, and at the same time, a challenge that can lend itself to the building process. Here we go, other side. Step or hop your feet wide. Turn the front foot out. Bend in the front knee. Find that stance that is yours. Sit into the pose. Look over the front arm. Feel what guides you. Add the value of breath. Open to possibility. As you exhale, lengthen. As you inhale, let your body tell your limbs where to be. Let your bottom arm get guided by your body and come into your half moon. Yep. Make it yours. Your breath will allow you this easing in with each exhalation. What happened on the other side? I'm going to rest my forearm. And I can bend the top elbow and continue on down. The leg travels with. Keep reaching into all four limbs. There is this rotation, turning to look toward the ceiling. Notice how you are in your back body. The chair gives you permission. You tap into your sense of being courageous. And then when you are ready, back to both arms, pushing, rotating the pelvis, squaring the pelvis with the floor, and we are borrowing a little bit from our warrior three. So again, I want to bring my attention to pelvis square. I get to look ahead, adjust your proximity to the chair so you can really use it well, and keep your mind resolved, body resolved to be still, pelvis on down. And then rotate, turn your shoulders away from the back of the chair and then come back. And we could have used the back of the chair on the other side. It would have been just fine. Here we get to really ask the shoulder to not collapse. And we give ourselves permission to not overdo. A lot gets to happen when we isolate and really ask for it from the upper body. Now, both hands in the seat of the chair, continue with your micro adjustments. Bring the back knee in. Notice how that in itself is a nice recovery, and extend, yeah? And the hand opposite that back leg reaches. Invite cat pose in, inhale and extend. This is a nice filler for the standing hip. It gets to do a lot of work for you. We are building time and adding value. When you are ready, both legs anchored, the standing leg you were just counting on, it comes, foot rests at the knee opposite, and you get to sit back and give it a little bit of recovery. With this recovery, lift the standing heel, drop down any amount more, and drop the heel. Very nice, everyone. Take one or both arms up. And slowly stand. So we want to return to that one-legged Ekapada Utkatasana, that opportunity to use that powerful, mighty, courageous building pose. But for now, we're going to use the strap and the seat of the chair. So I want to use my strap at one foot, and I want to use the chair from a side, standing to the side position. And actually, the back of my chair still faces the screen, and I'm going to use the outside leg, turn toward the chair, and place my foot in the chair. Leg is nice and long. And we'll do a number of things, but I want to call your attention to the fact that the standing leg has a neutral turnout, and you get to decide if you want to go higher. In which case you can add one or both blocks to the seat of the chair and give yourself that opportunity. If you had no chair, you would be hanging on to the strap or the big toe. And this gives us an opportunity to stay a little bit longer and to pepper in some different preparations. So here we go. At first, I want to hold on to the reins. Shoulder blades are in charge. If you feel that this takes a little bit more of a challenge to just be here, it's great balance work, then stand near a wall and put your hand at the wall, that would work. But when you're ready, with this light micro bend of the knees, come into this fold and make sure that the front spine lengthens, that there's no rounding, there's no collapsing. The back of the knees open despite that micro bend of the knees. We are hip hinging. And this doesn't have to be, it doesn't need to be a really huge fold to be effective. But before you give it away, consider bearing down with that leg. And then let up on it. Bear into the standing leg, lengthen the spine, and notice how you can come a little bit more forward because you took the time to create that light contraction. And inhale and come on up. Next, the hand opposite the foot will hold the strap. We want to be in an upright position, and then take the free arm out to the side and turn. Nice. You might decide that you want to add a little bit more rotation, in which case you can come and slide your hand to catch the back of the chair, and it just gives you a leverage. The leg keeps its place. You can bear down, keep the toes back towards you, or aim to lift the weight of the leg. And aiming to lift the weight of the leg, we come closer to not having the chair and counting on the memory in our yoga body of actions that we are asking for and conditioning. Take the time in return and simply step down. That was a lot of work for that standing leg. Let's do all of that from the other side. So as you turn to face the chair, setting up this way gives you access to the back of the chair for a deeper twist. You could have easily had the back of the chair on the other side. So here we go. Want to place the heel, hold with both arms, tug, broaden, and just build time. I have both legs pushing, both arms pulling. I'm not hiking the hip, I'm trying to drop the sitting bone and lift the ribs. And then asking for a little bit more lengthening of the back body muscles by coming into a fold. This micro bend of the knee gives us a chance to keep it safe and kind, and perhaps surprise ourselves. This is very similar to a pose that we do sitting from the floor even, called Paschimottanasana, the seated forward bend. And every time we want to go that little bit further, we want to reach into the leg, we want to grow it. And in this variation, I'm having us, in addition, bear down. So when we contract muscles and they relax, this PNF stretching allows us then to lengthen the spine, borrow from Paschimottanasana, and continue our way into our fold. You may already know yourself here and know that you can reach out and catch your foot and hold it in front and balance. But this is a great preparation to just ready us and to allow the benefit of those angles, those challenges. Inhale and come on up. When you're ready, opposite hand to the foot. And we are beginning to rotate. So I want to turn and take the free arm out to the side and turn any amount. The ideal is to be upright, to drop the sitting bone, to lift the ribs, to stay without cinching up the side body, to root into the heels and to be at our longest spine. We want all of that. And if you're ready to turn more, just using the element of the chair, you could slide the arm over and catch the back of the chair. Make sure that what you are able to do is to still pull and work more toward an upright position. It's a nice challenge. Don't lose the essentials. And then inhaling to return, slow and controlled, stepping down. 2 long legs. Let's keep them long now. We're going to turn and use the back of the chair. So I'm turning the chair away from me and resting with enough room to have all 4 legs of the chair on the mat and mat space back behind. My palms face forward and I'm catching the back of the chair. And we could keep it very simple. We could bend in the elbows and come in, move the sternum up, reach the heels down, and take on this very easy upward facing dog. We can come high onto the toes and decide if walking the feet back can deepen that back bending aspect. But still the chair is not moving, all 4 legs are there on that sticky mat and we're bending in the elbows any amount, wiggling the rib cage past the upper arms and then perhaps straightening the arms and trying to keep that. So any of that, everybody will get to their own place. Let your head follow your spine and rib cage. And slowly return, working toward the opposite. We want to walk back. And we want to come into this half of a fold, trying to keep our weight over the middle of the feet. Reach the arms forward, keep a micro bend in the knees, keep reaching the sitting bones up. But that one-legged powerful pose, we are returning to it, and we're going to give ourselves the opportunity to use the chair and prepare for what would be an arm balance. And it doesn't matter which aspect of the chair that you are using. I'm going to remove the blocks out of the way, and I'm standing beside the chair. And if you decide that this becomes just too much and you want to sit in the chair, I will give this option that is just really out of this world, wonderful. If I were to keep this figure 4 and decide to come into a fold, and furthermore to add a block underneath that front foot, I get to deepen the outer hip stretch. It is keeping it more out of the knees and out of the ankles, out of the foundation of the body. But here we go. I want to park the foot. The chair is right beside me. I can take one arm up and go, hey, I have a little bit of assistance. But we worked on some great twisting and we want to take advantage of it now. And we're going to take the hands over to the side and walk them over and decide if we can come low enough to rest the elbow into the foot. So when I have my elbow into my foot, where I would go to this really wonderful hand balance pose from the floor is to put my hands down and to have this lateral weight, parking the weight of my body through the access of my foot onto the outer elbow. Here's a chance to just get a taste of what we're asking for and to get a great hip stretch. So if you press the foot into the elbow and then come high onto the standing foot and just allow the shoulders to come on over, bear into the chair, it gives us a taste of what can be. If you know yourself here and you want to lower that bottom hand and use the leg of the chair to push down, then you can play around with what can be more. You can drop the heel and allow the upper body more grounding, any or all of that, and then return to feeling the effect of that. Let's do the other side. So here we go. This ekapada, one-legged, one or both arms. Beautiful. Charge the body and the mind. Something different, perhaps new. And we want to walk on over. So if your fold doesn't allow you comfortably to come and rest the elbow at that inner foot and to resist, this is my tighter side, then simply lean into the chair and just try to work on dropping that down. Feel what happens. Everybody will find their way, their place in it. We can lift that standing heel. We can talk our rib cage into this movement. We can adjust using any aspect of the leverage of the chair. We can drop that standing heel and just feel the twist. The neck gets to stay neutral, it just gets to follow. And then to return. Right? And then to stand. That was a lot. The blanket now. The blanket rests in the seat of the chair. And it's going to give you an opportunity to continue to open up the side body, and in case the chair feels a little bit firm, the outer edges might be hard against the soft structure, soft tissue of the body, then the blanket will take the edge off. If you have a pillow or a bolster, you're welcome to set it across the chair, especially if you are longer in your frame, if you are taller. So we're going to work on Vasisthasana and incorporate the element of the chair for more than just a resting support. What I want to do is to come and find sitting at the edge and saving space to be able to rest my ribcage. The block gives me a way to make the work kind on the wrist. And so I can begin to find, where am I able to come on down and have this supported side plank. Yeah? And depending on the length of the chair relative to the length of your torso, many possibilities. What must happen is that there's an element of being able to have support while there's a buffering of what doesn't allow the hard aspect of the chair to keep you from staying and opening to it. The top leg is going to lift, and the back of the chair is behind us, giving us a reference point and perhaps support. I want to bend my top knee and take my body and lean back, as if I'm inviting a back bending into this side plank. I can take the top arm and reach behind me, turn the head and reach back. What you can do, depending on if your chair allows you the space for it, not just the spine, is to reach back and catch the ankle and ask for all of that. I want this back bend. I want to draw my head back. I'm opening up the front of the hip. We just counted on deep hip flexion. And then to return. Yeah? Help yourself out of it. Nice. Let's do all of that from the other side. So when using the chair like this is a little bit new, it gives you a new relationship with your chair. You get to know how to count on it. And I'm coming from the side. I'm going to come on down, and I prefer using a low block just because it's not going to wobble, but I have the length to be able to do that, and barely that. So if it was that your pelvis is not on and it's mostly the rib cage, it needs to be right for you. Wherever you want to begin, you can rest the arm beside you, but lifting that top leg and exploring what happens when you bend the knee and take the foot behind you. Even just that involves a back bend, right? There's a cinching up of those muscles. But I want to lean back, and hey, the chair is there to give me a little bit of support. I can take the top arm, turn my head, reach back, and recognize, oh, this is not such a scary place. Then come on back. If you are able to catch the ankle, it's an option. I can draw back and use any of this. Slow deep breathing. And then return. The sides of the neck, those muscles are having to hold up the weight of the head. A lot of work goes on here without realizing, and you're built to manage it. Nice. So from this position, we'll work our way to the floor. We will use our blanket and we will use our strap. And it might be that you decide that you want to incorporate the blocks instead. So if you will keep them handy, we are going to start with the blanket so that it supports the back and the shoulders, and it gives a little bit of traction for the head, for the neck. And if you think that your neck is typically tight and you don't want the traction, then by all means, either open up the blanket or do without. And I will start that way just to show. We want to be close enough to the chair so that we have the proximity to hold the legs of the chair. And if you are especially long-waisted and you think that might not happen, then you can thread the strap so that it holds the leg of the chair and you can reach and catch the strap. It's just an option. Okay. We're not going to lift terribly high. We mostly want this really great outer hip stretch. So as you rest here, as your hands hold the legs of the chair, come and park your feet, heels hanging off, and decide if what you need is to hold the strap instead. If you are far from the chair, then you might want to put the back of the chair against the wall so there's no tipping. And then just simply come up and down. If you know yourself that you truly enjoy shoulder stand, then you're going to embrace the lifting aspect. Then by all means, I'm going to encourage that you protect your neck and you fold the blanket. Your head is lower. So you have great choices in how high to be here. I want to place my feet at the edge of the seat of the chair and slowly lift, tucking the elbows underneath and taking one leg up. And as we anchor the ankle at the knee, similar to what happened when we were standing, we're going to take a seat. We're going to lower and enjoy this really great enhanced version that's a little bit more passive, that counts on gravity to come on down. So now, if you're not making it very far to the floor, you can wiggle away from the chair, you can wiggle a chair away from you, but keeping yourself from getting all the way down allows the weight of your body and gravity to work together in the tugging capacity. So if I am just a few millimeters from the floor and I flex the foot and I try to push away this knee, this internal action to do that, then I'm using my breath to relax the resistance of the outer hip and to be patient All folds require patience and perseverance. And we can feel that here. You don't want to completely hang. The bottom leg is charged and it helps keep a little bit of engagement in that leg that is enjoying the stretch. And then come on up and switch. Recognizing one side, again, is going to tell you about it a little differently. And so if the tighter side doesn't allow you to come as close, then wiggle your way so you have just this small distance from the floor to play with. And that bent knee needs to go away, right? That leg that's closest to you. And just breathe. The spine is supported. And relax. We will rest the legs in this chair, but we have one more thing to practice. This wonderful preparation that supports the idea of that side plank. And we're going to turn to the side and notice that what I have going on is the blanket still and it supports the pelvis. So I want to slide my bottom foot underneath. And I want to get to this place where the legs are straight and the pelvis is stacked. My neck is neutral. And I want to bear the leg into the chair and lift. Top leg bears down, bottom leg lifts. I can lower that bottom leg and come down. Wow, that's a lot. And it might be that you need to move the chair. It might be that there's a certain aspect of where the leg or the foot or the ankle really uses the chair that makes it better for you. But the further away you go, the harder it gets because you are working from the longer lever. So I get to bear down and wow, and lift and lower. You can bring the knee in and extend and come in and return and come down. Whew, a little bit is a lot. Let's try just one more. I want to lift, yep, and play around, buy some time with a sense of lift. Yep. And then come down. Whew. Let's do the other side. So I'm going to simply turn. And you will want to find what aspect of the chair, what aspect of your leg meet each other. My kickstand hand is helping. I get to bear down and just play. I'm trying to keep the pelvis stacked. And again, right? That dominant side will tell you, hey, this side is a piece of cake. No matter what, we are not holding our breath. And you can stay a little or a lot. Roll onto your back. We'll place the legs in the seat of the chair. Legs in the chair, this wonderful pose. And you are welcome to keep the blanket as it is. Or to place it in the chair if you need to lift and adjust the height of the chair to make it right for you. We are aiming to bring knees to this 90 degrees. And I'm using my strap to bind the legs and allow the lower back to quiet. So when I use the blanket here, then I can approximate more to a 90 degree. And I'm going to cinch up the strap and wrap the legs just to maximize on that binding aspect. If I take away the work of the inner thighs, they just did a whole lot of work. They are connected to the sacral spine, and that will quiet all of that lower back area. Rest comfortably With each exhalation, allow heavy areas of your body, pelvis and shoulders, to just simply settle into the floor, to the surfaces below you. Anchor your focus onto your breath. Allow the belly to fall and rise. If the mind wanders, gently bring it back. You are welcome to stay here as long as you wish. When you're ready, release the strap. Roll to the side and allow yourself a few breaths to just shift blood volume. And then come up and sit. Bring your hands to your heart. Feel this energy that is light and lifting. And I hope it carries you through your day. Thank you for your presence. Namaste.